So I'm alone in the office of this student club that I volunteer for. And the lights are off, and I'm on the couch, and my screen is strategically placed away from the door. And even though it's 1 in the morning on like a Tuesday, and campus is super quiet, I'm still watching with my headphones in. Suddenly the lights flick on, and my boss, Jess, walks in the door. And I immediately slam my computer shut. And I can hide my screen from her, but I can't hide the shade of tomato red that my entire body has just turned. And she takes one look at me, and she goes, "What are you watching? Porn?" So I should explain. In high school, I realized that I wasn't quite straight. And though I knew I was gay, I wasn't ready to tell anyone. And I figured if I just ignored it, it might go away. And it did. Or at least it did until 3rd year, when my housemates and I decided to rewatch every season of the OC. Season 2, episode 12. Marissa Cooper, your girl next door, and Alex, the badass girl bartender, share a 10-second kiss on the beach. And for the next 3 episodes of their doomed romantic arc, I sit there squirming because I'm convinced that everyone can see the giant lesbian sign that's hanging above my head. And it's terrifying, but it's also kind of exciting because for the first time ever, I'm admitting that I'm seeing myself on screen. And I start to spend all of my spare time watching every TV show that I can find with a lesbian character. I watch The L Word, I watch Buffy, I watch Glee, Did you know that there are people on the internet that will take an entire season of a TV show and edit out all the straight parts? Like you can watch Grey's Anatomy, but just the parts with Callie in Arizona. And I do. And so no, Jess hasn't caught me watching porn. It is much worse. Jess has caught me watching YouTube supercuts of Pretty Little Liars. And I'm watching this one episode over and over again, and it's the one where Emily, who is our sporty but secretly gay heroine, goes to a gay bar for the first time. And I'm realizing that every show I watch has an episode like this. It's like no matter how small a town this show is set in, there is a conveniently located lesbian bar with perfect lighting and with, cool looking cocktails that I can't afford yet, and a horde of welcoming lesbians with perfect hair that will just usher you into the next part of your life. And so while I'm not ready to come out to my friends, that's okay, because I have a plan. I know where to find the lesbians. So 2 months later, I visit Toronto, and I step off the subway onto the platform. And I know that after tonight, nothing will be the same. There's this mix of excitement and terror battling it out in my stomach. Because 2 weeks earlier, I had Googled lesbian bar Toronto. And right now, I was on my way to the only result I had found. I'm wearing combat boots because I feel like stronger with those on, but I'm also wearing this blue flowy dress. And I never wear dresses, but I feel like this is something you dress up for, like prom or your first communion. So I take the steps 2 at a time, and I head out the door. Because if I stop, I might not be able to get myself to start again. And I can't let that happen, because tonight is the only thing standing between me and the rest of my life. As I make my way towards Church in Wellesley, I start to imagine what the bar will be like. Will it be a karaoke bar, like Emily's time in Pretty Little Liars? Or will it be like that episode of The L Word where everyone's wearing white for some reason and it's like lesbian heaven? How will we meet each other? Will there be name tags? And so I wake up from my daydream because I've reached Church in Wellesley and I pause. Because I was expecting like Disneyland, but gay. And I'm staring at 2 little pride flags, a pizza, and a Starbucks. Feeling a little bit deflated, I march up to the bar, give the bouncer my ID, and walk inside. And as my eyes adjust to the darkness around me, I take it all in. On my right, there's a bar that runs across the wall all the way to the back of the room, where a DJ is playing terrible top 40s music. There are 2 women on the dance floor at the back, and the 15 other people in the room are gathered in groups of 2s and 3s on my left. And as I take it all in, I realize I have made a huge mistake. Because this is not a TV show. This is real life. And just like in real life, people do not go to bars alone on a Friday night. But I've already paid my cover, and the only thing more embarrassing than showing up here alone would be showing up here alone and then immediately leaving. And so I walk to the bar, and I order a Bud Light, because I am broke and a student, and it's the cheapest beer I can think of. And I stand there at the bar, and I slowly peel the label off the bottle. And just so you all here know, I'm not just awkward because I'm at a lesbian bar for the first time. I am incredibly shy. Like, this is not how I meet people. I am best approached in public like you approach like a small animal. Like, slowly, and preferably with food. So you can imagine how terrified I am when this woman over on my right peels away from a group of people and starts to walk towards me. She's like 15 years older than me and has this really badass mohawk and like this cool leather jacket that I could never get away with. And she walks up to the bar and she looks at me and she goes, "Hey." And I immediately, like some gut reaction, shout in her face, "I have a friend coming." And like you would, she gives me a weird look and she walks away. And I'm standing there like, shit, Jeanette, you've blown it. Like, that was your like older, wiser lesbian guide coming to usher you into the future, and she's gone. And so I make myself stand there, and I listen to bad top 40s dance song after bad top 40s dance song, and I plan my escape. And just as I'm ready to get out and leave, these 2 girls come up on my right and my left at the bar, and they order 2 Bud Lights. And I look at them and I realize that they're my age. And I go, "These are my people." And I steel myself for small talk, and I say the first thing that comes into my head, which is, "Do you come here often?" And I think that they're gonna laugh at me, but the girl on my right just kind of shrugs and goes, "Yeah, we come here all the time." Yes, she's one of you, she's one of you. You know, the music's great, the drinks are cheap. And then she makes this face, and she goes, "You know, as long as you don't mind all the lesbians." And my heart drops. And I push my beer away, and I walk out to the door. And as I ride the escalator down the stairs back to the subway, I think, you're gonna find your people someday, but it's not gonna be at a bar. 2 years later, I'm riding the escalator up from the subway in the middle of downtown Shanghai. I'm here studying Chinese history, and as part of that, we've been tasked with doing research. And by research, they mean go talk to some people and find out what it's like to live in Shanghai. And as we've already established, talking to strangers, not my forte, but it's somehow not as bad when you have to, for research. And so I decided that I'm going to do my practicum on the experiences of lesbians living in Shanghai. But first, I have to find them. So earlier that week, I had gone on Google and Googled lesbian bars Shanghai, and I was currently on my way to the first address that I had found. It was for a monthly meetup of lesbians living in the city from all around the world. As I walked towards the bar, the sun was setting, and the summer heat was blowing through and making me really happy I had chosen to wear a dress. I walked up to the podium and almost didn't go in because as I looked around, I couldn't help but think, like, this looks super straight. It was this beautiful courtyard full of mostly couples sitting around tiny tables with tea lights, drinking super cool looking cocktails. And I was late and a little bit nervous, and so I kind of whispered to the host, hi, I'm here for the event. And she practically shouted her response, oh, the lesbian meetup? And I turned bright red. But as soon as I got over my embarrassment, it kind of felt awesome. Like she was announcing my arrival. Like, yes, I am here for the lesbian meetup. Thank you. And she ushered me past the tables into a corner I hadn't seen before, of this big round table off in the corner of the courtyard. And there were about 20 women sitting around the table under this beautiful white canopy, sipping cocktails and chatting. One woman at the end of the table noticed me arriving late and ushered me over. Sign in and then come join us. And that's when I noticed, on my right, there was a table with a registration list. There was a place to leave your email and to sign up for things like bike rides and board games. There were stickers with the logo of the meetup, and there were name tags. There was onboarding. I scribbled my name on a name tag and stuck it to my dress and went and joined the group at the end of the table. And I ordered a drink, and I dived right into the conversation. So, do you come here often?